Hello, welcome back, students. So, welcome to our YouTube channel. So, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's start our quarter 3, week 1 objectives. So, at the end of the lesson, you should be able to, number 1, describe and name a point, a line, and a plane. Number 2, illustrate the relationships of points, lines, and planes. 3, define and identify the name of subsets of a line. 4, illustrate and define an angle. Number 5, name and identify the parts of an angle. And last one, illustrate the different kinds of angles. We have acute, right, and obtuse. So, ito yung kailangan yung matutunan or mamaster natin for this week 1 objectives. So, with that, let's go on. Define muna natin what is geometry. So, ang salitang geometry ay galing po yung salitang geo at metron. Ito yung Greek words na ang katumbas ng geo ay earth and metron to measure or measurement. So with that, ang geometry ay tinatawag din siyang earth measurement. So meaning to say, we are going to measure the objects that being created by a man. So ibig sabihin, mahalaga ang geometry. So geometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with study of sizes, shapes, angles, properties, and position of two-dimensional shapes and three-dimensional shapes. So yun yung mga properties natin. No? Meron tayong area, perimeter, okay, so, and other formulas. And with that, let's talk about undefined terms. So meron tayong tinatawag na undefined terms or we call them building blocks of geometry. So bakit kaya sila tinawag na undefined? Because they have no formal definition. They just being described. So with that, how do we name or other information? So we have the point. So this is simply represented by dot. Okay, so as is tuldok lang. Sa line naman, straight mark with two arrowheads. So ito yung symbol niya. And for the plane, slanted four-sided figure. How to name a point? This is simply a single capital letter. Read as point P, example of that. And for the line, two capital letters with a double arrows head above or lowercase. So two letters, take note of that. And for the plane, you can read a single letter, just is plane M or any three non-collinear points in a plane. So pwede siyang ganon. Other information for point has no length, no width, or no thickness. Occupies no space, kaya wala siyang dimension. For the line, has infinite length but no width and thickness. Straight lang talaga siya, straight line. And for the plane, has infinite length and width but no thickness. Kailangan siyang merong flat surface para masabing plane. And with that, so we have to determine whether each of the following suggests a point, line, or a plane. So number one, the corner of a room. Take note of the word corner, that is a point. Next, we have the intersection of ceiling and the front wall. The word intersection, that is simply a point. Next, we have one of the guitar strings, the word string, that is a line. Next, we have the side of a box. So there are six sides of a box. So meaning that is a plane, merong surface. And number 5, the tip of your finger. So meaning pwede siyang the tip of a ball pen. So that is a point. Next, the shadow. So that is a plane, has a surface. Take note of that. And for the stars in the sky, that is a point. Number 8, the laser beam. So meaning that is a line. Laser, di ba? Meron siyang rays. And the parking lot has a surface, meaning plane. The horizon, that is a line. So take note of the word. And with that, let's have the word collinear. So ano naman ang ibig sabihin ng collinear? So when we talk about the collinear, observe, we have the points that lie on the same line are called collinear because they lie on the same line. Yun yung points N, A, U. Another, we have non-collinear. What have you observed? That is, points that do not lie on the same line are called non-collinear because the points do not lie. Take note of that. If you connect, hindi po yan magkakaroon ng line. Okay, so that's why How does collinear differ from non-collinear? The underlined word meaning lie on the same line, that is collinear, while non-collinear do not lie on the same line. And with that, we are going to identify whether this is collinear or non-collinear based on the definition. We have example number one, H and KI, meaning this is a point. So if you're going to observe H and KI, so that is collinear because according to the definition states that points lie on the same line. Okay, next, M and OL. So observe the given points, that is non-collinear. Okay, kasi meron diyang points na nakahiwalay. So if you're going to connect, hindi masasama yung L. Okay, we have number three, JKL. So that is collinear because they lie on the same line. And number four, LKI, that is non-collinear. Next, number five, MO, that is collinear because they lie on the same line. And with that, we have another word. We have the word coplanar. So, observe natin yung points, di ba? We have point A, B, C, D. That is coplanar. Dito naman, points E, F, G, H are non-coplanar. Bakit kaya sila non-coplanar? So, re-reveal natin, no? Pag sinabi natin coplanar, points that lie on the same plane are called coplanar. Take note of the words. And points that do not lie on the same plane are called non-coplanar kasi meron dyan nakahiwalay na point G. So, ibig sabihin niyan, we call this non-coplanar. Wala sa isang plane yung mga points. Ito naman, nasa isang plane lang lahat ng points. Kaya sila coplanar. And how does coplanar differ from non-coplanar? The definition states that lie on the same plane, that is coplanar. Dito naman, do not lie on the same plane. This is non-coplanar. Okay, so let's have an example of differentiate or identify coplanar and non-coplanar given of this. We have PQU, or this is points. We have this is coplanar. Bakit kaya sa coplanar? Because according to the definition states that the points lie on the same plane. And SRVU, if you're going to observe the given, this is non-coplanar because do not lie on the same plane. For number three, WVUT, this is coplanar because they lie on the same plane. Next, for number four, TWVUQ, that is non-coplanar. Titignan natin, kailangan makita nyo yung definition or makita natin yung mga terms doon. And for the number 5, SPQ, that is coplanar because they lie on the same plane. And with that, you're going to answer, are points PQU collinear or coplanar? Bakit? Okay, observe natin yung given natin. So we have PQU. Okay, that is coplanar because the points lie on the same plane. Okay, so kailangan lang natin matandaan yung mga definition nila. Are points S, R, U, V, U non-collinear or non-coplanar? Why? And the answer is non-coplanar because the points do not lie on the same plane. So, and with that, malalaman natin kung coplanar ba siya or non-coplanar based on the definition. Another word, we have the subsets of line. So there are two subsets of line. We have ray and segment. So example natin ng ray. Ray, this is BA. Okay. Ito naman, ray CD. This is segment or this is the line segment BC. So paano ba tayo mag-identify or magpangalan? So malalaman natin yan. So sa line, let's go back to the definition. A line is a series of points that extends in opposite direction without end. So infinite yung kanyang direction na yan. And that is how you are going to represent line AD. Kailangan meron siyang symbol sa taas. And we have number one, line segment, that is a subset. Pag sinabi natin line segment is a subset of line consisting of two endpoints. Take note that there are two endpoints and all the points in between. Ibig sabihin kasama lahat yung nasa pagitan nila. And that is line segment. And for the symbol of that, you have to line segment BC, kailangan meron siyang segment symbol sa taas ng two letters mo. Okay, pwede siyang magbaliktad. Yes, pwedeng baliktarin mo na line segment CB or BC because there are same lang naman yun kasi two endpoints yan. Next, we have the word ray. Ito namang ray na ito is a subset of line with only one endpoint and extends infinitely in one direction. So, kung mapapansin natin, isa lang yung kanyang endpoint, tsaka isang direction. Ibig sabihin, to represent that, we have ray CD. Always start with the endpoint. Ano yung endpoint natin dito? That is C. Titignan natin dito sa figure sa taas, CD. This is a point, meaning endpoint going towards direction with point D. Kaya CD or ray CD, pwede ba siyang baliktarin yung letters? No. Because the endpoint here is point C. Okay. Next, so how to name the rays? So kailangan malaman natin based on the definition. Always start with the endpoint. So ray CD, the possible should be, or line BD, line rays BA, ray CA. Okay, for the line segments, we have one example here. Segment or line segment BC, pwede siyang baliktarin na CB or BC. Dito naman, meron tayong tinatawag na opposite rays. Ang opposite rays naman, observe muna natin, no? Ray BA and BD, tignan natin, BA tsaka BD are opposite. Okay, dito naman, another we have ray CA and ray CD are also opposite rays. So, anong ibig sabihin ng opposite rays? So, opposite rays are rays with common endpoint but extending in opposite direction. Ibig sabihin, meron silang common point. Yun yung K. Kaya pag represent natin yung opposite rays, we have ray KJ and ray KL are opposite rays because they have a common point K. Okay, so how many line segments are there in the figure? Paano ba natin malalaman yung number or bilang ng line segment? So meron tayong dalawang method. Pwede kang maglista or listing method or you can use the formula. Okay, list down muna tayo. So line segment AB, take note of the symbol. Don't forget that. To emphasize, this is the line segment. Line segment AB, segment AC, take note of the pattern. AB, AC, AD. Next is BC. Okay, we have BD and last one we have CD. Okay, so next sa formula naman we have this n times n minus 1 over 2. Okay, meaning where n is the number of points. So apply natin yung formula. How many points do we have? So there are 4. So meaning substitute natin. We have 4 times 4 minus 1 divided by 2. Ibig sabihin, you have to perform first the operation inside the parentheses. Kaya magiging 4 minus 1, 3 yon. 3 times 4, 12. Divide by 2, that is 6. Kaya ang sagot natin ay 6. So, ibig sabihin, there are 6 line segments. So, babalikan natin yung nilista natin, how many line segments? So, there are 6 then. So, ibig sabihin, pares lang yung sagot natin. Okay. And for that, another, we have how many rays are there in the figure? Paano naman kung ray? So, ganun din. So, use the listing method or ililista natin and the formula. Pero yung formula nito is different dun sa line segment. So, we have list the possible ray. We have ray AB, always start with the endpoint. So, ray AB, ray BC, ray CD. Take note of the pattern. We have ray AB, BC, tsaka CD. Okay, pa-reverse naman tayo. Start naman ako sa D. We have ray DC. Next, we have ray CB and ray BA. Basta kailangan yung endpoint mo, yung always start. Okay, and for the formula, we have 2 times n minus 1, where n is the number of points. So how many points do we have in the figure? There are 4. So ibig sabihin, we are going to substitute. That is 2 times 4 minus 1. You have to perform first the operation inside the parentheses because that is the rule for PEMDAS. And that is 4 minus 1, that is 3 times 2, that is 6. So let's go back. So how many line rays do we have? So 6. So same lang dun sa nilista natin. So that's why you are going to choose the method that you are going to get the answer. Ibig sabihin, same lang yung answer natin. Pero kapag maraming points na ang given, no need to use the listing method kasi it takes time. Kaya nga, use the formula na. Formula instead. Okay, so next, determine the number of line segments and rays formed in a line with the given number of points. Let's have example number one. There are 5 points. So to solve this, using the formula for the number of segments and for the number of rays. So how are we going to do that? Just simply substitute natin. Given yung 5 points, so we have 5 minus 1 is 4. So 4 times 520 divided by 2, that is 10. So there are 10 line segments. Okay, so another we have raised to substitute ulit natin. We have 5 minus 1, that is 4 times 2, that is 8. Kaya ang sagot natin sa raise ay 8. Next, for number 2, there are 8 points. So same, using the formula, substitute 8 minus 1 is 7 times 8, that is 56. Divided by 2, that is 28. Okay, so and for the rays, using the formula 8 minus 1, 7 times 2, there are 14 rays. And for number 3, there are 10 points. Using the formula, substitute, we have 10 minus 1 is 9 times 10, 90 divided by 2, that is 45. So there are 45 blind segments in 10 points. For the number of rays, using the formula 10 minus 1 is 9 times 2, that is 18. So that's why how to get the number of line segment and number of rays. Okay, with that, we are going to discuss the different kinds of line. We have this. So this is parallel lines. What does it mean? So ibig sabihin, parallel lines are in a plane that are always, take note of that, always the same distance apart and never intersect. Ibig sabihin, hindi sa pwedeng magdikit. Okay, so another we have this perpendicular. When we talk about the perpendicular, it is a line that are lines that intersect each other and forms a right angle. Meaning to say, ito yung line na nag-intersect na meron na form na right angle, and that is 90 degrees. Another word we have this, ano kayang tawag dito? Meron silang point of intersection. This is intersecting line. So intersecting line, when two or more lines cross each other in a plane, they are called intersecting lines. The intersecting lines share a common point. Yun yung tinatawag natin point of intersection, which exists on all the intersecting lines and is called the point of intersection. So ano yung pagkakaiba ng perpendicular sa intersecting? Sa intersecting, walang na-form na right angle. Sa perpendicular, meron siyang na-form na right angle. And with that, we have this. Anong tawag dito sa figure na to? So this is angles. So dito naman sa color red, this is not angles. How do you distinguish whether the figure is angles or not angles? So based on the definition, we have to define that angle is formed by two non-collinear. Take note of that. Two non-collinear rays with common endpoint. The two rays are called the sides of an angle with common endpoint called the vertex. Yung vertex, yun yung endpoint na common nila. And the angle measure is always between 0 to 180. Take note of that. So, classify natin. Yung color red, bakit siya hindi angle? So, if you observe, there is no vertex. Ibig sabihin, wala silang common endpoint. Hindi sila nagdikit. Dito naman, sa pangalawa, this is not angle because, according to the definition, kailangan two collinear rays siya. Ibig sabihin, eto, collinear rays. Ito, meaning to say, nakalay sila sa isang line lang. Kaya, hindi siya pwedeng maging angle to. And sa pangatlo naman, this is also not angle because there is no vertex. Okay, so with that, that is the definition. Take note of that. And there are parts of an angle. So we have vertex. Vertex is a corner of an angle called the vertex. Take note of that. And the other straight sides are called the arms, or ito yung tinatawag nating ray. Okay, so, and this is the measure. Ito yung, the angle is the amount of turn between its arm. Okay, ibig sabihin meron tayong, ito yung arm natin, no? Yung first arm, tinatawag siya initial side. Dito naman yung terminal side kung saan nag-end yung iyong measure kapag ginamitan mo ng protractor. And with that, speaking of protractor, this is a device to measure the angle. So how to measure an angle? So let's have, kailangan itapat mo lang yung center mo doon sa straight edge mo. And then you're going to count from 0 to 180. Since yung initial side mo, 0 siya, start lagi sa 0. And yung terminal side mo, eto siya. So, nag-stop sa between 30 and 40, but less than 35. So, meaning to say, that is 34 degrees. This is the degree symbol. And the possible name of this angle CAB, angle ABC, and angle B. So, pwede siyang balik na rin. But take note, the vertex or yung point of intersection nila, common endpoint, lagi nasa middle. Okay, so we have the sides or ito yung tinatawag natin rays. Always start with the endpoint. So, ray BA tsaka ray BC. Okay, take note of the symbol of the ray. And for the vertex, yung common endpoint nila is B. That is vertex B. And with that, you are going to name or what are the possible name of this angle. So we have angle AOB, angle BOA, and single letter angle O. And for the sides, that is a ray AOA and ray OB. And for the vertex, that is point O. And with that, this is 35 degrees. So, kailangan makita mo yan sa protractor kapag mineasure mo siya. And with that, we are going to classify angles according to measure. There are three. We have this, acute angle, right, and obtuse. So, anong ibig sabihin ng acute? Based on the definition, an angle whose measure is less than 90 but greater than 0. Ibig sabihin, nasa pagitan siya. So, right angle naman is an angle whose measure is exactly 90 degrees. For obtuse angle, an angle whose measure is greater than 90 but less than 180. Kaya nga yung definition natin ng angle, between 0 to 180 lang siya. And with that, we are going to classify the angles according to measure. For letter A, this is obviously an acute. Kasi nga, di ba, sa figure definition natin, less than 90 but greater than 0. For letter B, this is right angle. For letter C, obtuse angle. For letter D, acute angle. Next, for letter E, obtuse. Letter F, that is obtuse. And last one, G, acute angle. So, kailangan lang natin i-master yung definition nila to determine the classification. And with that, we are going to answer how many angles are there in the figure. So, first, you're going to list. Okay, so we have angle AXB. Ito yan. Next, we have angle AXC. Next, angle BXC. Next, we have angle BXD. So, and then, after you write all the angles, you are going to classify anong klaseng mga angles to. For the first, we have right angle. Okay, because according to the definition, it states that 90 degrees, exactly measure niya is 90. And for angle AXC, this is obtuse angle. And if you're going to measure, that is 145 degrees. For angle BXC, that is acute angle, and that is 55 degrees. And for the last one, that is right angle for angle BXD, and that is also right angle. I mean, that is 90 degrees. And with that, there are four angles in the figure. And what is now the vertex? That is point X. Okay, that is the common endpoint to all the angles. And with that, we are going to determine what is the vertex of the angles. We have point Y. And number two, what type of angle WYV? And that is right angle. And for the last one, what type of angle UYZ? And that is acute angle. Okay, so with that, you are going to answer the quiz number 1 for undefined terms in geometry, subsets of line and angle. So, to determine kung natuto ba tayo sa ating lesson for this um, week. Okay, so I hope you learned something. So, with that, goodbye. We'll see you next time.